Hey everybody, last episode was venison steak Diane. I felt like I cheated a little bit because I had to buy a store-bought item that I didn't want to use, but I didn't have on hand. Basically, I'll show you here. The item was a pre-made demi glace from somebody else. So we're going to make this ourselves. We need to start off by using some beef marrow bones and making a beef stock, and then from that we're going to be able to make our mother sauce. We started with our oven. We preheated it to 450, so now we're going to turn it all the way to broil. So we're going to get the flame on the top side so the oven's nice and hot. We're going to take our beef bones and this is all we're going to do. Nice and easy. Take that. We're going to open up. Take this. Doesn't matter if they slide together. Separate them. Put them in there. And then we're going to basically char the outside of the bones. So while we're waiting for this to brown, we're going to go back and cut our mirepoix up into large chunks. Alright, so we have stuff that I've already cut up and used. It's all onion skins, all celery and some carrots and some peppers. We're going to use this as well. And the good thing about using a stock, this is stuff you would normally throw away. It's just some rusty colored, and by no means is it bad. It's just into the skin, but you wouldn't eat that. But for a stock, it's perfect. See how nice and dark they're looking? So you see it's starting to spit and catch into the flame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that down one. Alright, it's been about 15 minutes. We're going to pull the pan out so you can see all the fat. Figure out how to do that. Right there. And in it goes. Now, while we're waiting, we're going to take this and the seasonings, the thyme, the bay leaf, and the peppercorn, and then we're going to start our stock. So that's what we're going to do. Get this open. Bring it over here. Bring our water. I'm going to say that's about 1.5 gallons at most. Knock all this down so that everything's in the water. What I'm going to do, turn it on high, medium high. That's what I want for those 4 pieces. That's a heavy teaspoon, 1.5 teaspoons. 1, 2, equal 2 big bay leaves. And that's it. We let this come up to a boil and simmer while we're waiting for the bones and the vegetables to brown. Alright, I can smell the caramely goodness inside of the oven. This is just about ready. So now what's going to happen Once I get the beef bones in here, I'm going to bring it up to a boil, always. Let it come down to a simmer so it's barely bubbling. I'm going to let this stock go 10 hours. So it is close to 2 now. That means by midnight I got to shut this off. All right, let's get the bones. It smells good. I think the vegetables are good too. Garlic's starting to brown. Onion. Looks good. All right. Trying to do this with one hand. And just make sure all of this. And see that stuff right there? We're gonna get all that off too. Oil and all. Everything's going in. Turn the flame on underneath the pan. I think we can see, I can't see that, but hopefully you can hear it. So what we're gonna do, a little water. All right. Take this. And that's it. It's 2:15, so approximately 10 hours from now, we'll be shutting this off. We'll stop back every now and then to see how this is going. We'll be back when it comes to a boil and when we turn it down to a simmer, and then we'll see you again at 10. All right. Spin it this way a little bit. That's a rolling boil. I'm going to take the vegetables, mix everything back up. And I'm going to start turning the temperature down. 315. All right, 3 hours in. Looks a little darker. And we're going to add just a little bit of water. Looking good. All right, so we're 6 3/4 hours in. It's 9. Still got a ways to go before the rest of that marrow breaks down. About 3 more hours to go. That's perfect consistency, perfect color. Now you can see through the broth. If it was boiling too hard, a lot of the impurities would have stayed in the liquid and it would have made it cloudy. Simmering it low and slow, it's the way to go. All right. See you in the morning. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but on top of that stock is a nice layer of fat. When this is going to cool down, that fat is going to solidify on top, and that's what I'm going to use to make my roux for my sauce espagnole, to make my demi glace. That is going to be my trick. A lot of people tell you when you roast the bones to get rid of the fat, but I do not. I save the fat because everybody knows 90% of the flavor is in the fat. So why would I get rid of it to buy other fat to use it when I have it right here from the original bone? That is one of my secrets. So I just want to say thank you for watching this episode. This is part 1, beef stock, of how to make a demi glace as you would in a restaurant. On this last clip here, this is a couple days later. To the right is the actual beef stock you saw made, totally chilled with the fat cap on top. The stock to the left is what the French call a remoulage. That's the second stock that's made. And we'll get into that. I'll have a separate episode for that as well. Coming up shortly will be part 2 of the demi glace series, Espagnole sauce. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.